Who is the next challenger or challengers for Deonna Purrazzo in the Knockouts title? Sammy Guevara tries to make championship decisions for Impact Wrestling. The Great Muta says he might be defending his newly won GHC Heavyweight Championship from Pro Wrestling Noah in Impact Wrestling. And I make a case as to why I think Chris Bay should be in the next New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of Super Juniors tournament. All this and more coming up next on Shooting Up North with Lewis Carlin right here on the Impact Lounge. Hey, folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. Thanks for joining me today. I have a lot to get into today, but before I get started, I just want to say, in case you haven't already done so, if you subscribe here at the Impact Lounge, and if you don't subscribe to the Impact Lounge, hit that subscribe button. But also, after you hit that subscribe button, head on over to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network, my own personal YouTube channel. Head on over there. Lots of great content. Hit that subscribe button as well. So the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Head on over there, please, 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 please. My subscribers are going up and up every week, and I'm very thankful for that. But if you haven't given it a chance, if you haven't given it a shot, head on over there, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Again, lots of great content, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into the Impact Wrestling stuff. So who is the next challenger or challengers for Deonna Purrazzo and the Knockouts title? Deonna Purrazzo, clearly the best female wrestler and one of the best wrestlers overall, in my opinion, in Impact Wrestling. So who would be the next challenger for her? And it seems like right now that they might be headed towards ODB or Jazz to be the next challenger for Deonna Purrazzo. I would think it's a good bet at Sacrifice, which is the next Impact Plus event that will be taking place in March. I can't remember the exact day, but it's in March that we will see Deonna Purrazzo defending the Knockouts title either against ODB or Jazz. She's not going to lose the title to either of them. She will defeat, whether it's ODB or Jazz, she will defeat them. And then where does she go from there after she defeats either ODB or Jazz? If that match, in fact, does happen, even if it doesn't happen, where does Deonna Purrazzo go? Who would be the next challenger? You think about some of the talent that's in Impact Wrestling. You got Rosemary, you have Tennille Dashwood, another possible opponent, Kimberly, Jordan Grace, maybe opponent again. But these are all names that that's been around for a while. The Deonna Purrazzo has had matches with some of these names already. Do we want to just recycle an old feud, or do we want to try something new? So here's my idea. Here's my idea. I think we should definitely try something new. As you know, Deonna Purrazzo, she voiced her opinion about ODB coming in, saying that all the old stars are coming in, where the young stars, there's a lot of young, hungry talent. Thought it might be a storyline, but thought it would be incorporated into Impact Wrestling show, but I don't really think it was. So I don't think it was a storyline. I think Deonna Purrazzo was really genuinely upset about Impact Wrestling neglecting younger, hungry talent to come in to Impact Wrestling. But here's my idea. Here's my idea. Let's just say at Sacrifice, Deonna Purrazzo's defense against ODB or Jazz, or even if it's a triple threat match, that's the possibility as well. Triple threat match against ODB and Jazz, and she wins, which is expected. She's not going to lose to ODB. I would be very disappointed if she lost to ODB or Jazz. So she would win, and then after that, we would have music would start to play, and I think that they should bring somebody from AEW in to be a challenger. Just because we haven't got the women involved yet with this AEW Impact Wrestling relationship. So maybe it's time to get the female talent involved. So my idea would be this. I really like Tay Conti. And I would love to see her show up at Sacrifice and challenge Deonna Purrazzo to a match. And I would like not just like on the next episode of Impact that immediately follows Sacrifice. I mean, build it up for the next pay-per-view, which is Rebellion. And I think Tay Conte would be a terrific opponent for Deonna Purrazzo. It would be something new, something fresh. It would add the female talent to the Impact Wrestling AEW partnership, and I would be all for it. And even if it's not Tay Conte, you would think it could be Britt Baker. You know, Britt Baker and Deonna Purrazzo have a lot of history, but I think that's a kind of a match that they want to save. I could see down the road if they have an Impact Wrestling AEW quote unquote supercard. You know, you could have Deonna Purrazzo defending the Impact title against the Knockout title against Britt Baker. So you could bring Britt Baker in. I wouldn't be I wouldn't voice a bad opinion about that, but I think they might want to wait for that. Other people you could bring in, you know, Killer Kelly. You know, that's another possibility. Killer Kelly shows up at Sacrifice. You know, and that's a great name, Killer Kelly, showing up at Sacrifice. You know, you can't get better than that, right? That's like it sounds almost it sounds perfect. It's a perfect time for someone named Killer Kelly to show up at an event called Sacrifice. I mean, that's perfect. That's perfect. Killer Kelly, she's there and she's gonna say she's gonna commit a sacrifice. All right, you know, that's I'm getting a little corny, but Killer Kelly would be great. I would welcome that with open arms. She would come in and she would say that she's here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to win the Knockouts title. They build her up. She wins a couple of matches, and then they set up a match between her and Deonna Purrazzo at the next pay-per-view. Or they could bring in someone who I can't believe is still a free agent. It was still a free agent. Someone who's been who has history with Deonna Purrazzo as well. I'm talking about not Killer Kelly. I already said Killer Kelly. Kelly Klein. Kelly Klein is an incredible talent. She's had some terrific matches with Purrazzo in Ring of Honor. They have history. I would love, you know, if they brought Kelly Klein in, you know, to show up at Sacrifice to be the next challenger after Purrazzo wins her match at Sacrifice, which, like I said, good bet it's going to be ODB or Jazz. So those are my choices there. I think if I had to pick one, I would want either Tay Conte or Killer Kelly, and the reason being is Tay Conte will be a great opponent. Deonna Purrazzo will go over, of course, and successfully defend the title. But Killer Kelly, I think would be great as well, because Killer Kelly would hopefully have been signed to a contract with Impact Wrestling, and she would be officially on the Impact Wrestling roster. I'm surprised that they haven't signed her yet. Maybe they offered her a contract and she hasn't accepted it. But I would love to see her. I would love to see her in Impact Wrestling and to, again, show up at Sacrifice. Even if they don't show up at Sacrifice, you know, this is just me fantasy booking, you know, and but even if it's not Sacrifice, even if it's on the regular Impact Wrestling show, just show up and say that they want the Knockouts title. And Killer Kelly, I'm talking about here, and she works her way up. She wins a number of matches. Have her defeat Jordan Grace, have her defeat Nevaeh, have her defeat Tennille Dashwood, and build herself up as a legitimate challenger for Deonna Purrazzo with the Knockouts title. I think that would be fantastic. I think that would be great. I think that would be a good way to go. And even Kelly Klein coming back, if they could sign Kelly Klein, I mean, they need to start building up their roster a little bit. And Kelly Klein and Killer Kelly will both be great additions to the roster. And even if you reverse things here, Deonna Purrazzo could actually show up at AEW on AEW Dynamite and saying that she's the best women's wrestler in the world, and she's looking for some new challengers here in AEW, and she'll put the Impact title on the line anytime, anywhere, and have her defend the title on AEW Dynamite a couple of times. I mean, that would be great too. and actually have her start a feud with someone in AEW, and that person, whether it's Tay Conte, whether it's Big Swole, whether it's Penelope Ford, have them. They could follow her back to Impact Wrestling, and they could continue the feud there in Impact Wrestling, and they could go back and forth on the shows, and on each promotion show, Dynamite and Impact Wrestling, and continue the feud. That would be very exciting. That would be fresh. That would be something different. Even if Deonna Purrazzo goes and challenges someone, and say Serena Deeb and the NWA champion, or Thunder Rosa. Oh, that would be such a great match. Purrazzo against Thunder Rosa. Wow. So hopefully they got something in the works there, because there's a lot of good possibilities there for Purrazzo, and that's the ODB Jazz thing is most likely going to happen. I say let's just let it happen. Let's get past it, and let's move on, and find some really good new legitimate challengers, some fresh new legitimate challengers for Deonna Purrazzo and the Knockouts title. And as I mentioned earlier, she did say on Twitter that she was upset, the direction that Impact Wrestling was going. Hopefully, Scott D'Amore has listened to her, and hopefully, again, we will see some new, fresh challenges coming up for Deonna Purrazzo and the Knockouts title. Okay, Sammy Guevara. New information has come out about Sammy Guevara, and as to why he has angered and upset Impact Wrestling. Apparently, Sammy Guevara wanted to win the X Division title. This is what I've been reading, and I say apparently because I don't know if it's true, but I've read this on multiple websites. So, according to reports, Sammy Guevara wanted to win the X Division title, take it back to AEW, not lose it, and just surrender it, and there will be a tournament to determine who the next X Division champion would be. I also read that Impact Wrestling just wanted Sammy Guevara to come in and win 3 matches, and that would be it. Apparently, she would come in, win 3 matches, make it seem like he has left AEW and he's now on the Impact Wrestling roster. And then after winning the 3 matches, I was reading he was going to show up again on AEW Dynamite, and I guess continue his feud with the Inner Circle. But Sammy Guevara didn't like that. Sammy Guevara wanted to win the X Division title. So he took it upon himself to text a message to Impact Wrestling saying that he wanted to win the X Division title and take it back to AEW, according to reports. And I wouldn't put it past Sammy Guevara, because he seems the type of guy that would do something like that, because I think he's got a bit of a swelled head. So here's the deal, Sammy. You don't go to a promotion that you don't work for and make championship decisions. Okay, you don't do that. You don't do that. Impact Wrestling makes a decision on who holds the title and who drops the title and where the title goes. It's Sammy Guevara taking it back to AEW Dynamite and just dropping the title. Just relinquishing the title, and then a tournament to take place to determine the new champion. No, it's not a prop. It's not a prop for you. The X Division title is a prestigious title. It's not a prop for Sammy Guevara to jump around with and do whatever he pleases with. So no, I'm glad Impact Wrestling said no to that, because I would have said no too. And because they decided that they didn't want him to win the X Division title and do whatever he wanted with it, he decided not to show up. He decided that he wasn't happy with the story, with the creative direction, because according to reports, he wasn't happy with the creative direction because they decided not to give him the X Division championship. That's real great, real good to hear. Again, I'm glad Impact Wrestling held their grounds and they didn't cave. And apparently, Sammy Guevara will not be on Impact Wrestling for quite some time, probably never. And that's fine. I mean, if you didn't want to just go over and help push this AEW Impact Wrestling storyline relationship further and do some good things with it. Because yeah, he was going to go to Impact Wrestling with 3 matches, from what I was reading. And if he didn't want to go ahead and do that, if he felt that he was too good to do that, that he's better than everybody at Impact Wrestling, and there's no reason why he shouldn't have the X Division title and take it back to AEW and do with it as he pleases, then we don't want him. We don't want him in Impact Wrestling. So again, Scott D'Amore, Don Callis, thank you for holding your ground there. Showing that these guys just can't come in and make decisions for Impact Wrestling. The decisions are made by Scott D'Amore, Don Callis. Impact Wrestling management makes the decisions for Impact Wrestling, not Sammy Guevara. So yeah, okay. So have fun back at AEW, and glad we won't see you back in Impact Wrestling for quite some time, or probably never, which is again okay by me. Again, Sammy, you don't make decisions. It's like it'll be like how can we compare it? How can we compare this? It would be um Matt Hardy. Like Matt Hardy. Actually, that's a bad comparison. I'm not gonna compare it to anything. I'm sorry. Anyway, but bottom line, I'm glad you know what, let's move on. I don't want to talk about Sammy Guevara anymore. Okay, so the Great Muta is the new Pro Wrestling Noah GHC heavyweight champion, and he is claiming that he will defend the title, or he has been asked to defend the title in Impact Wrestling. Let me pull up the article here. It says new GHC heavyweight champion Keiji Mutoh, who is the Great Muta, reveals Impact Wrestling Challenge. He said last week, the Great Muta, the iconic Japanese wrestler, captured the Pro Wrestling Noah's GHC Heavyweight Championship to become only the third man in history to win 3 major titles in Japan: the New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the All Japan Pro Wrestling's Triple Crown, and now Pro Wrestling Noah's GHC Heavyweight Championship. So congratulations, Great Muta, on that great accomplishment. But he said in a press conference, he has revealed that he signed a 2-year deal with Noah and has been approached about a title defense in Impact Wrestling, furthering the previous Noah Impact Wrestling alliance. So this is big, and Scott D'Amore actually tweeted about this, and apparently it's true. Scott D'Amore welcomed the Great Muta. I don't have the exact tweet, but he welcomed the Great Muta Impact Wrestling to defend the title, and Eddie Edwards actually he commented on it as well. I think he put up a couple of thinking emojis when this was reported on. I forgot what site reported it on Twitter, but Eddie Edwards showed interest. So this is truth to this. Scott D'Amore and Eddie Edwards both responding. So we could see the Great Muta coming in to defend the Pro Wrestling Noah GHC Heavyweight Championship in Impact Wrestling. And I would think it probably would be against the former GHC Heavyweight Champion, Eddie Edwards, down the road. And it's just interesting because Pro Wrestling Noah and Impact Wrestling previously, I don't think they have it anymore, but they previously had a working agreement. And now, as you know, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, their working relationship has just begun. They're taking baby steps right now, and I think it's going to work out well. And I think baby steps are going to become adult steps down the road, and we're going to see a lot of talent exchanges. But nothing wrong with Pro Wrestling Noah being involved. Pro Wrestling Noah, Great Muta coming in for a match or two, defending the title against, say, Eddie Edwards or someone like Sami Callihan or anyone in Impact Wrestling. I would be all for it. The only thing is that the Great Muta is 58 years old, so he's kind of limited on what he could do. But I watched the match where he won the GHC title, and he's moved pretty good. He moved around the ring pretty good for a 58-year-old. So I wouldn't be surprised down the road we see the Great Muta defending the Pro Wrestling Noah GHC Heavyweight Championship on an Impact Wrestling card. Now, could we actually see a New Japan Pro Wrestling star a Pro Wrestling Noah star, an AEW star, all on the same Impact Wrestling show. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. Impact Wrestling is making a lot of strides right now, and they're doing a lot of great things and making a lot of just great relationships. AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, um, Pro Wrestling Noah. Might as well get All Japan Pro Wrestling involved as well. I believe they have a relationship with a AAA in Mexico, so they're doing the right thing right now. And as I said on the past couple of podcasts, 2021 is going to be huge for Impact Wrestling. Could we see the Great Muta defending the Pro Wrestling Noah Championship against a New Japan Pro Wrestling star on an Impact Wrestling card? Could we see the Great Muta defending against an AEW star on an Impact Wrestling show? Right now, right now, I wouldn't. I would say anything is possible. Anything's on the table. Anything can happen on an Impact Wrestling show right now. The only thing is, before they start doing all this, we got to start getting um, the crowds back. This needs to all be done in front of a crowd, not an empty arena. I know they're building up right now, but it's time to get the people back. And once the people can come back safely, then we could have some of these terrific live shows. I think attendance is going to really increase for Impact Wrestling, and I think we're going to see bigger arenas, and we're going to see more people showing up to the shows. I mean, New Japan Pro Wrestling Finjuice was on Impact Wrestling, and their ratings jumped, I think, from 153 to almost 200,000 viewers. So, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the benefits are already showing benefits from the New Japan Pro Wrestling Impact Wrestling relationship. So, I think we're going to see bigger crowds. I think it's going to be in bigger arenas, and I'm looking forward to 2021. 2021. We're already 2 months in, and like I said, 2021 is going to be big, really big for Impact Wrestling. A lot of momentum, and I don't think they're going to lose the momentum. I think the momentum is here to stay throughout the whole year, even throughout 2022. Lots of big things happening for Impact Wrestling, and no one can be more excited about it than me. I'm very excited about what's going on. Speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, every year they have their Best of Super Juniors tournaments. Usually it's May or June, and this year I'm going to say that Chris Bay should be involved in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of Super Juniors tournament. It's a great tournament. It's a prestigious tournament that's going on for quite some time. The winner of the tournament gets a shot at the the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, which is currently held by Hiromu Takahashi. I would love to see Chris Bay involved in this tournament. He would fit in really well with the great talent that New Japan Pro Wrestling pulls in from around the world. Chris Bay, super talented wrestler. He had a great Super J Cup when he made his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut at the Super J Cup a few months back. I think Chris Bay will be fantastic in this Super Junior tournament, and I hope New Japan Pro Wrestling is looking at Chris Bay, especially with this relationship going on right now. We're going to do some talent exchanges. I know New Japan Pro Wrestling interested in the Good Brothers. I think they would be interested in Chris Bay coming on over for that tournament to Japan, into Japan. It's I think it's a 1-month tournament, and Chris Bay would be wrestling multiple matches, and hey, I know New Japan Pro Wrestling approached Impact Wrestling for Chris Bay to participate in the Super J Cup, and I would assume that they were very happy with what Chris Bay gave them at the Super J Cup, and I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I'm going to say I'd be a little disappointed. I'd be a little disappointed if we didn't see Chris Bay in the New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Junior tournament, which is coming up either May or June. I'd be disappointed. And I think it's a good bet. Another good bet here. I think it's a good bet. We're going to see him in the Best of Super Juniors tournament, but we'll wait for the talent announcements. And I'd be very disappointed if Chris Bay's name is not one of the names in that tournament. Okay, so this week on Impact, TJP defended his title, the X Division title, against number one contender Josh Alexander. It was a terrific match. Loved the match. It went over 10 minutes. The action was fantastic. TJP, Josh Alexander, both absolutely incredibly talented wrestlers, and they gave us a fantastic match. My only issue is we didn't get any build for this. This could have been a great match for Sacrifice. I think they rushed it. Josh Alexander became number one contender, and then the match was rushed and happened immediately. There was, again, no build, no face-to-face meeting in the ring, no trying to no cutting promos on each other. TJP could have been given a little bit of a rest, and I know he just came off the feud with Rohit Raju. It could have been a time where they could have built this up. Josh Alexander could have gotten one or two more big wins under his belt, and they could have saved it for Sacrifice, and we would have had a terrific match for Sacrifice. I just think they rushed it. I think they kind of dropped the ball there. TJP successfully defended the title, defeated Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander no longer the number one contender, and now we're going to have a new number one contender, which is we're going to find out. There's going to be there's going to be a 6-man tag team match next week, and the winner of that, the winning team of that 6-man tag team match, will go on the next week and compete in a triple threat match, and the winner of that triple threat match will get a shot, I think, at Sacrifice against TJP. And I know Ace Austin was on with his little tiny Super J cup. This little Super J cup. Yeah, this about that big, and they should have given him a bigger cup. But yeah, here's the Super J cup. Okay, that's enough. And but anyway, forgetting about the cup, he says he's the number one contender. He should get a shot, and I kind of agree. I think the winner of the, did I say Super J Cup? Super X Cup. I'm sorry, Super X Cup. Yeah, see, I think I said Super J Cup. I meant Super X Cup if I said Super J Cup. And I think the winner of the Super X Cup should have gotten a shot at the X Division title, but Ace Austin is involved in this little tournament that they're doing to determine the new number one contender. And I think Sammy Guevara was supposed to be involved with this as well, but Black Taurus will be taking his spot. And we'll find out in 2 weeks who the new number one contender is. It could be Josh Alexander again. I would be all for that. I thought Josh Alexander was going to win the match. There were at times where I thought he was going to pull it out, and I was on my feet. I'm a huge Josh Alexander fan. Probably one of my top 3 wrestlers in the world right now, favorite wrestlers in the world. And I was on my feet. I thought he was going to pull it out, but TJP was successful. And I'd love to see Josh Alexander get that number one spot again, but I don't think he's going to. I think it's going to go to Ace Austin, and we're going to see TJP against Ace Austin at Sacrifice. But again, I think they dropped the ball. We could have had a really good feud with TJP and Josh Alexander. I don't think it should have happened so quickly. And I don't think the match, I should say, shouldn't have happened so quickly. But hey, again, I don't make the decisions at Impact Wrestling. I can only voice my opinion. Okay, on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me today. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. This has been Shooting Up North, heard right here on the Impact Lounge. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.